When I think about teachers I've had over the years, people who have educated me or given me the opportunity to learn in any capacity, I think the most important person who ever had that role was probably my English teacher in high school, Miss Stevens. Miss Stevens not only was a great English teacher, she was actually my first black teacher in my entire life. And for me as a young black man, having somebody who I felt really not only saw me, but invested in me as a student and particularly as a black student was important. It was my first time ever reading black authors, having a black educator, right? I remember she really invested in making sure that we all knew who Toni Morrison was, that we all knew who Audre Lorde was, that we all knew who Richard Wright was, and specifically the color purple. So we were talking about the great books and we were saying that, you know, this was a great book, that was a great book. And she asked us, okay, of the great books that you know about, how many of you have read The Color Purple? And I remember everyone in our class looked at each other. We hadn't even heard of it before, which is now bonkers to think that we hadn't heard of The Color Purple. And so we read the book and not only did we read it, right? She had us unpack it. What was actually being said in the book? What was being navigated in the book? How blackness was represented in the book? Also how queerness was represented in the book. Black womanhood, black manhood. And so I think for me, when I look back at that moment and understanding writing in a certain way, if it wasn't for Miss Stevens, I don't think I could have not only become a writer, but I could consider storytelling from a standpoint that wasn't the typical, you know, kind of white gaze-centered storytelling. And so with that being said, I think that the most important educator that I've had is definitely Miss Stevens. And if she sees this one day, I hope that she knows I'm deeply thankful, as hopefully are all of my readers.